Hello and welcome to Ask The Amagi. I'm your host, Max Facts.
And I'm the other host, Guy Smart.
The question for this episode comes from YouTube user Sickaah. Sickaah asks, okay, so here's my take for it with something animation related. Why did Disney stop making 2D animated feature films? And if it was because of audience gathering, why did the audience quit watching Disney 2D animation feature films? Don't know if this is the right kind of question, but here you have it. First off, Sickaah, this is absolutely the right kind of question. Any question is welcome on Ask the Amagi. So if you have a question, don't hesitate to comment it down below. Back to the question, why did Disney stop making 2D feature films?
Disney stopped making 2D animated feature films because a terrible virus called Ebola came through and all the 2D animators got sick and died. And all that was left was stupid 3D animators, and Disney was like, well, I guess we'll have to settle for making 3D films now. And ever since then, they've been making 3D feature films.
That's not at all right. In a way, 2D animators did get wiped out, but it wasn't from Ebola, it was from Disney itself. Before we get more into why Disney got rid of all the 2D animators, we have to go into Disney's past. In the beginning, Disney was all about entertaining children with fun cartoons. They came out with Snow White, Cinderella, Aladdin, Mulan, and many, many more. At first, there was only one type of animation, 2D animation. And that was okay because that's what the audience was used to, and they didn't know any other kind of cartoons. But then came along a new company called Pixar. Pixar was a small 3D animation company that started off making shorts. But once Disney saw how greatly loved those shorts were by the audience, they decided to take a risk and hire Pixar to make 3 featured films, the first being Toy Story. Toy Story grossed over $300 million worldwide.
To infinity and beyond!
That was more money than any previous Disney film had ever made. The other 2 movies were A Bug's Life and Toy Story 2. Both grossing each over $350 million.
1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4!
Disney saw the popularity of 3D animated films as a sign to keep making them, so they hired Pixar to create more 3D animated films, such as Monsters, Inc., The Incredibles, and Cars. Disney made a huge decision in 2006 to purchase Pixar for $7 billion. Now, in this time, Disney didn't completely give up 2D animation. They cranked out Jungle Book 2, Brother Bear, Home on the Range, Bambi 2, and more. But they just weren't making the same money as 3D films, so slowly they stopped making 2D animated feature films. Their excuse was that the audience just wasn't liking 2D films as much as 3D films anymore. Disney was about to get rid of 2D animation right there, but then remembered their past and decided to take one last shot at 2D animation, hoping the audience would like it enough to give them an excuse to keep making them. That film was The Princess and the Frog.
I suppose you want a kiss.
Kissing would be nice, yes?
The film released November 25th, 2009, and got a bunch of good reviews, but still didn't make as much money as the previous 3D films, not even close. So Disney decided to lay off their entire 2D animation department. Some of those animators were with them from the beginning, with Cinderella and Aladdin.
That's terrible, and it was all that stupid Pixar's fault when I get my hands on them.
Sadly, it's not Pixar's fault. It really was our fault. When we were given a choice to watch either a 2D animated film or a 3D one, most people chose 3D.
I disagree. Which do you like better, 2D or 3D Mickey Mouse? 2D or 3D Frozen? That's what I thought, 2D. 2D is always better.
That's not what the audience was telling Disney. More people were watching 3D films than 2D.
So Disney just threw away their past just because more people like 3D animation.
It wasn't just that. 3D films cost less money and are faster to make.
So it's over then. 2D animation is gone.
Look at yourself. You're proof that 2D animation isn't gone. Many small companies use 2D animation in series and commercial. And even big companies like Nickelodeon still use some 2D animations for series and movies.
And there's anime too. There's hundreds of 2D animated series in China and Japan out there too.
And you know all those animators that were laid off from Disney? They're right now working on an independent film called Hullabaloo that they believe will prove to Disney that 2D animation is still alive and has a fan base. If you want to, you can donate money to them to help pay for the film. The link will be in the description.
So 2D animation still has a chance.
Yep, if this film goes well, Disney might even hire their 2D animation department again and continue making 2D films. It's really up to you, the audience. If you show Disney that people still want 2D animation, they just might bring it back. So to answer your question, Sickaah, Disney did indeed stop making 2D animated feature films because of audience gathering. And the audience quit watching 2D feature films because in their mind they felt 3D feature films looked better and chose to watch 3D films over 2D ones.
They must have been blind.
Thanks for watching this episode of Ask the Amagi.
If you have a question, please comment it down below.